What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome on in to the PWTorch Fireside Chat for Monday, May 15th, 2023. What's going on, everybody? I'm PWTorch Assistant Editor Zack Heydorn. It's good to be here. We've got lots to discuss, and I'm glad you're here with me. Thanks to everybody who's joining us live. If it's your first time checking out the show, you're coming to the right place for a full Raw preview, but we are live all week long, all throughout the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Typically, there's been some slight alterations to our schedule here the last few weeks to accommodate personal lives. And, sometimes things happen. But we should get back to our normal scheduled programs, which is a Raw preview on Mondays, a Raw review, and an NXT preview on Tuesdays. Wednesday is AEW day. Thursday is kind of a wild card day. So we've got lots of different things going up either that day from myself or Tyler or Stephanie or something else altogether. And then Friday is the flagship edition of the Fireside Chat where we talk all the news of the week heading into the weekend. And we got a busy time of year with two big shows on the horizon at the end of this month, which with Night of Champions and with AEW Double or Nothing. So lots to discuss. And again, appreciate you guys here. Thanks for joining us live. Azan jumping in early. Too much positive for last week. That's why there was no Fireside Chat. I'm assuming you mean the flagship edition of the show is on. And no, not because there's a too much positive, just because of schedules. But there was, depending on how you look at certain things that's happening in the wrestling business right now, it's either strong positives or, there could be some negatives. Wade Keller wrote a really great take on PWTorch.com that was posted yesterday regards to AEW's television deal or the impending television deal and the new show Collision starting up on Saturday. He dropped some news in there as well as I think gave a well-balanced argument for what the pros and cons are for what that deal means for the company. And look, no one's gonna you can't poo-poo $1 billion if that's what the deal ends up being. But there's issues that I think Wade points out that are fair to point out that another 2-hour show could exasperate. So check that out at PWTorch.com. It's a really cool piece. And we'll talk more about AEW, their television deal, AEW Collision, CM Punk, and his return to the company. We'll talk about that all throughout the week here on the PWTorch YouTube channel and on PWTorch.com. Dr. Ross, hello. Thanks for joining us in the chat. Appreciate that. And Sean, what's going on, man? Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. We're here to talk Monday Night Raw today, and I think it's going to be an interesting episode of Raw. The hook, as of right now, if you go to WWE.com and you check out the Raw preview, it is Cody Rhodes, smack dab in the middle of the screen. He's going to address Brock Lesnar after last week's challenge that Brock Lesnar made for a fight at Night of Champions. So that seems to me that we're going to get another Cody promo, more Cody promo time. And I think to me, that's interesting on a couple different levels because number one, it shows that WWE has trust in Rhodes to be the guy to carry big segments and heavily promoted segments on the show. I think we've seen that from a wrestling perspective and not as much from a promo perspective, but we're starting to see that show through. And I think, something like tonight where he's not going to have a match against Brock. I mean, the promo may lead to, a match on the show later in the show. But, I think it's telling, that if you had questions about whether or not Cody Rhodes is and was a guy in the company, these types of situations would tell you otherwise. Like they don't give this kind of time to just anybody, and so I think Cody has been doing what needs to be done in those segments. And I think the WWE machine, the writing team and Paul Levesque and maybe Vince McMahon, excuse me, I think that they've checked Cody's worst instincts from a promo perspective. You know, we saw in AEW Cody's just what he determined to be good material in a promo just go completely haywire, whether it was something ultra meta or something too over dramatic. We all know about the gender reveal party thing. Like, it just, his, instincts were not checked in AEW. And I think he suffered because of that. Well, in WWE, it's like they have found a way to just leverage the positives that Cody brings to the table as a promo. He's confident. He speaks well. He can drive a narrative. What he says out there, I think you believe and you buy. There's an authenticity there. And so I think, it's a good sign that WWE is putting him in the roles, and he's hit home runs. I mean, I think he was great in the lead up to WrestleMania. I think he's been fine with Brock. And so, I think let's see what he has tonight. Let's see what he has tonight out there. What are your guys' expectations for what Cody's going to say? Like, I think we're going to get tonight. You can drop it in the chat, and I'll try to read it on the air here. What I'm expecting is for him to just come out fiery. I think you want to hear him address the loss last week, because of Brock Lesnar. I think that does two things. One, it gives like further personal stakes to the Lesnar-Cody rivalry, but it also puts over the new world title, whether you like the new world title or not. And we'll debate that in a minute. If Cody's talking about it like that, and the fact that he's fired up because he lost the match, that helps put over the title, helps put over the meaning of the title. So I think that's important. And I just want to see him act like an alpha on top of that. Those three things. If he's got an alpha demeanor, he addresses the loss, and he comes out fiery opposite Brock's challenge, and maybe sets some kind of stipulation for the match with Lesnar at Night of Champions. That would check the boxes for me as a good promo for Cody, given the circumstances. Brock Lesnar is not promoted for tonight's Raw. That doesn't mean he won't be there. Not promoted for tonight's Raw. So I think this segment is going to go one of two ways. Either you're going to hear the promo from Cody Rhodes, and then, hey, that's it. We ride off into the sunset. Or you're going to get some kind of heel that come out and, say you talk Cody down and leads Cody to a match later in the show. Either way, I think can work, but that's my expectations. Azan with the question: would Night of Champions change your opinions about the Backlash ending? I'm just assuming you mean Cody winning the way that he did. No, it doesn't change it. At least not yet. And again, I want to reiterate, I did not have an issue with the finish from a booking perspective. Cody Rhodes winning the way that he did, fine by me. It was how the win was framed at the end, and him running off, and Brock Lesnar kind of getting the camera put on him for the sympathetic, look at this guy, he just got beaten this unfortunate way. That was my issue. I think you wanted to treat it as a win, and instead they kind of ran from owning that booking decision, I felt like, and I don't think it helped Cody. Outside of that, though, the follow-up makes a lot of sense to me. Cody gets this win. Lesnar feels it's kind of fluky, even though it's really, it feels like it's fluky because it looked that way, but it's really not when you break it down. He leveraged him up for the pin, and that's that. But Lesnar thinks that, and he cost Cody the chance at the world title, the new world title. And now they go on. So I think it's fine. It's just the context in which that happened is, I think that's the issue. Did Cody have to go to the bathroom? That's as good of an explanation as any, Dr. Ross. It made no sense for him to react that way after beating Cody that way, after beating Lesnar that way. And so, I think I don't know how to explain it. But so, yes, let's go with that. Let's make some news. Cody had to go to the bathroom in the main event of Backlash per Zack Heydorn at PWTorch. No, I'm not breaking it. Thank you, Dr. Ross. Sean jumping in, Zach, that win wasn't the greatest. Azan, it does help their story a little bit, especially now. Yeah, I mean, it's not the definitive win that you would have wanted or that you might have wanted. Now that you know that they're having a second match and likely probably another one, I'd imagine. I don't know. I feel like it works. But it's weird because you don't have the proper follow-up on the show that night. And that's the part that I thought was really, really bad. Let's see here. Yeah, wanted to comment on this from Steve. They need some match that isn't just a regular match. Well, they're building it as a fight, Steve, or at least right now. That's what Brock challenged Cody to. So, I mean, is it going to be some kind of unsanctioned match? Is it going to be like a last man standing? Is it going to be false count anywhere? I mean, my expectation is that they will attach some kind of, stip to the match so that it's allows for more violence. And look, I mean, I think Brock has just performed a little bit better in those kinds of matches at this point in his career. Like, when's the last time he's had like a good, really, really good in-ring match? I mean, it's been a while, but I think he can, overcome some of the shortcomings that he has, or that, he just what he's willing to do or not do in the ring, with matches with stipulations like last man standing, etc. So that's where I think we're going. So I think you're right, Steve. They need to add something like that. Amos checking in. To be honest, if it were me, I would have ran too, because I know that when Lesnar got up, he beat my ass. Yes, that's reasonable. But I think you got to say that, right? I think you got to say that the next night, And if that's the case, like that's not you kind of slaying the dragon and getting the celebration. So it's a different kind of clean win for sure. But either way, I think you have to address that so it doesn't just look like you're running for the sake of running because you're scared. I don't think you want that. All right, let me scan through the comments here. Yeah, so tonight's show, I mean, yeah, it's going to be Cody heavy on carrying this feud, and so we'll see what he can bring to the table. Also tonight, we've got a women's tag team title match. We've got Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan defending the titles against Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville. Look, I grade what they do with the women's tag titles on a bit of a curve because those titles have been just stuck in the mud for so darn long, and just with nothing going on, and the belts are just getting tossed around like they're props. And so with all that said, these titles have had space on the show, both SmackDown and Raw, for the last few weeks. All right. And so to me, that's a good sign. That's a good sign that that Triple H's WWE is trying to leverage these championships and make them into something just because of the time that it's given. Now, am I expecting like a 5-star Matt Classic in this? No, absolutely not. But I want, like, look, part of the deal here is if you get the time, if you're the tag team champions and you're Liv Morgan and you're Raquel Rodriguez and you get the time to go out there and have these matches on a night-to-night basis, week-to-week on Raw and SmackDown, man, as champions, they need to make something of that time. And so they have to go out there and put on a show. They don't get to another level. Prove to the WWE brass that the women's tag titles are worthwhile, and prove to the audience that, hey, you guys in the audience need to care about these things. Need to care about these titles because they're going to mean fun matches. We have some fun rivalries, and give context to the belts. They told like a decent little story here. It's mid-card at best, but Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green have been around the titles for a while. They've been hovering, if you will. And so now we're getting that kind of television payoff. It's not happening on pay-per-view. That's okay. So I grade this on a curve, but to me, the fact that you are, pushing these matches and making it a part of your show is a decent sign. A decent sign. We haven't seen it fully come to fruition yet. It's not working in its entirety as of yet. They have some time, but nights like tonight have to matter in the grand scheme of things for, the long-term arc of what these titles are going to be. And so you gotta see some movement. They have to get something out of this when they're putting it in these positions. Lots of comments on this. Dr. Ross here. Liv and Raquel have had more title defenses than Roman Reigns. That's crazy. It can't possibly be true, but maybe it is. Source on that, Dr. Ross. Source on that. Sean's saying here, I'm not looking forward to this at all, unfortunately. Raquel needs to turn heel very soon. This isn't working for me. Azan agrees. Hey, Liv and Raquel come off as such fake baby faces. And Steve jumping in saying the curse of Naomi and Sasha. Yeah, well, I mean, look, the women's tag titles were not in a great position, even when Naomi and Sasha had them. Let's call a spade a spade. But yes, I get what you're saying. Look, guys, I mean, I think I'm a little bit higher on this than you guys seem to be. I like in terms of Raquel and Liv Morgan, it feels fake at this point. It feels a little bit forced. It feels a little bit pushed. But neither woman had anything really great going on for them as singles acts. Liv Morgan kind of fizzled out after being world champion last year. Raquel Rodriguez brought up to the main roster and got a little bit of the Vince treatment of kind of hot at the beginning, and then it just totally kind of faded away. And I think they can make this pairing work. Sometimes you have to just put people together and go with it to see what you got. And so that if you look at it through that lens, which is the lens I'm looking at it through, like I'm not trying to see like if Raquel and Liv can become the FTR of the WWE Women's Tag Division, right? It's just can they have serviceable performances? Can they grow as a tag team? Can they gel together? I think they've shown that they can. Again, it's baby steps, but I think that they still need time. Like it's not a finished product yet. Here's the interest, and I wanted to go down this route, so I'm glad you checked in with this comment. If they were smart, Amos says they would put the belts in Sonya and Chelsea and let them run with it. It's not a bad idea. Even based on what I said about Raquel and Liv, it's not a bad idea. I think if you're going to make these titles part of your show on a regular basis, it would be smart to have the baby faces chase those titles down. And Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville are like the perfect heels to hold those belts. They're obnoxious. They can do backstage stuff. They can have decent enough matches in the ring. And I think by the time somebody beats them, the audience will have wanted to see them, wanted to see them lose. And so I think that is on its side. That's on the side of, putting the titles on Sonya and Chelsea tonight. The downfall of that is you have Alba Fire and Isla Dawn on SmackDown, and because that match is looming, the tag titles in NXT, Dawn and Fire are the tag team champions in NXT, and then you've got them on SmackDown now. They're a heel team, and so to me, you have to get to that match. You got to get to that match. So while Chelsea and Sonya can work, and you can certainly make the case for going down that road, and I think they can hold those belts on like a low card level. Alba Fire, I mean, what a good way to debut them on the main roster if they come in and they beat the women's tag team champions, the main roster tag team champions, and then go on to hold both, either merge the titles or unify the titles or whatever. Like that's an impactful way to debut that team. So I kind of lean that direction, even though I think if you put it on the heels, that could absolutely work. Okay, let's see what else we have on the show tonight. We've got Becky Lynch is back. She made her appearance last week. She is back this week. She's going to address Trish Stratus, whatever that means. Sounds like we're getting a promo from Becky Lynch, and that's always a good thing. I'm curious as to what she has kind of in the tank promo wise to, just to kind of get her, I don't know, like, I don't want to say back on track, because I don't think she's not on track, but she's just not as hot as she was, and it's not even close either. It's been a while since that hot run, obviously. 2019 doesn't feel like a long time ago, at least for me, but it's a long time ago. It's a long time ago, and she's been gone. She's been a heel, and she's just not caught the same magic in a bottle that she's had before all of that. I think I'm with Sean here at the booking a little bit. I mean, the heel turn is going to automatically cool some of that stuff off. But even after that, I mean, she had, like, look, you had the match with Ronda on the table. They didn't do it. Oh, it's kind of on the table because Ronda was hurt. But I mean, she just hasn't been featured, the featured act on either one of the shows. And this isn't a featured feud for her either. So I think it's going to make for good content tonight. I always like watching a Becky Lynch promo, but I'm not expecting too much out of it. I'm expecting that we get to the match tonight for Night of Champions, and Trish Stratus will accept, and there you go, off to the races, and that's that. So that's what I'm expecting tonight. But it will be a fun segment. Becky promo segments typically are excellent as far as that goes. And then finally, an interesting match, a battle royal for to become the number one contender to Gunther's WWE Intercontinental Championship. The list of participants, at least as far as I have seen, have not been revealed at this time. But I think you can figure out who it is, who it's going to be. So I'm going to ask the chat here, who do you want to see kind of take that slot and go to Night of Champions to win or to face Gunther? So who wins who wins that match tonight to become the number one contender? Sean's not happy about it. Not happy. Not a happy man there, Sean. Why? What? You don't like the battle royal? I don't think they've overdone the battle royal stipulation. So I think I'm more okay with it than you at this point. And also, I don't think it's going to be a very prominent feud or match in Gunther's kind of career, or like not career, but championship reign. Like if this person beats him, okay, yeah, that would be a problem in hindsight. But as long as this person that wins tonight is just going to be somebody that he dusts at Night of Champions, and his reign continues, I think the battle royal stipulation is a decent way to go. What are some names that come out? I mean, Mustafa Ali is I guess the overwhelming favorite at 3 votes. So maybe he could be the guy. Apollo Crews, interesting as on. I like that. That's a good way to reintroduce him to the audience. However, the negative to that is, assuming he's not going to win, he kind of just ends up right back where he started on the main roster when he left, as like this kind of IC title guy who just, that's as high as he can get, and that's it. So I mean, if they have plans for Apollo Crews, I don't know what you'd want to see. They want to feature him in that match. Mansoor, maybe. I mean, Mansoor doesn't lose in Saudi Arabia, folks. He does not lose in Saudi Arabia. And so if he wins this match tonight, Sean, your worst nightmares will come true. And we're going to be on this show in a couple weeks going, hey, why did Dr. Ross, Why did Dr. Ross have to put that out into the universe? No, I don't think it's going to be Vince. Well, I think you're looking at somebody like, like an Ali or like a Chad Gable, somebody like that Gunther can have like a pretty good match with, but ultimately beat definitively, like, and cleanly, and just, kind of like totally destroy him, like almost like a pseudo squash match, but just not really. That's I think what you're looking for here. Anything else, I think that's just it's too much. If it's somebody more significant than that, if it's like, somebody that can flirt with the upper part of the card, or if it's like a Damian Priest, it won't be Damian Priest. That's heel versus heel, but you get what I'm saying. Like if it's that level, I think or even like a Drew McIntyre. Like I think you want to see more of a build here with it. So that's why, to me, this is going to be kind of like a random winner that gets the shot and then just, loses pretty definitively. That's my expectation. But look, talking about Gunther here real fast, he's been one of the better NXT call-ups in recent memory. I mean, the guy has an aura around him. I think, he's been protected by the booking for the most part. He's had really good matches when he's had the opportunity to. He hasn't had to really change his style all that much. Like he can wrestle the style that he wants, and it seems genuine and it fits the character. So I really like what they've done here and with Gunther. And so even though this has the makings of not a very memorable IC title match at Night of Champions, it continues to position Gunther in a strong way, and ultimately that's the goal of this right now, anyway. And so I think that's what all signals are going to go towards here. All right, guys, that's it. Thanks for joining me. I do appreciate it, you guys. Real quick, I want to go to Rin's comment. Gunther's work makes him credible. Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. It's a big part of his character and why it clicks so well. Thank you for the comment, Rin. Thanks for watching with us live. So we'll have all your Raw coverage tonight on PWTorch.com. Make it your second screen. Put it up there. We have Wade's report, usually an alternative perspective report as well. Kind of breaking down the show and providing live analysis on what's happening and the storylines and the matches, the booking, et cetera, et cetera. It's all there at PWTorch.com. We'll also have all your news coming out of the show at PWTorch.com as well. Go there. Again, put it up while you're watching Raw. It's a nice side-by-side companion to your Raw viewing experience. I'm PWTorch Assistant Editor Zack Heydorn. We'll be back tomorrow on the channel. If you haven't subscribed, please hit subscribe. We do appreciate it, and you can hit the little notification button so that you know when we're live, and also when we put up new videos. So thank you. I appreciate you all. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll talk to you guys next time. See you.